When it comes to rotations, there are numerous possibilities. However, there are definite rotations that work the best in certain situations, but what are the best routes to take and why is it important to predict an enemy team's rotation? In this video, we will be answering these questions along with the many others you may have. In the meantime, scroll down 2 inches and consider liking the video and even subscribing if you like the content you see. If this video isn't right for you, I have an entire playlist dedicated towards helping the community improve, and the best part is the videos are free to watch and enjoy without the constant bombardment of ads. Enough wasting your time and onto the video. Let us start somewhat simple. Some of you may be pros at the game, but keep in mind there are some watching that are still learning. So what is a rotation then? Basically, it means to move towards a different area or objective, or regroup and reposition you and your team. For example, saying rotate out is a form of telling your team to back the fuck out of that fight and dip. Rotate in is the exact opposite, where you and your teammates get into position together and on command you guys push. Of course, this mainly requires communication and a team, so it's pretty hard to do with those randoms who are unwilling to listen. It is possible to do yourself, I've done it myself as well, and the same matter applies, but you want to be positioned in the most advantageous spot possible, but that goes regardless with or without a team. Most of the time you rotate to where you want to apply more pressure. So let's say that one team is currently being steamrolled by an opposing team. Pushing the ones being demolished wouldn't be the best bet, as you should focus on the stronger team and deal with any of the weaker ones afterwards. The same goes for pushing an unsuspecting team. Use that element of surprise and get close before engaging. Focus fire on one individual at a time if possible, and I'm positive you'll wipe them out without an issue. Just don't get cocky and break formation. I've seen so many teams do this against me alone, and I'm able to squad wipe each and every one of them. Recall that you are stronger in numbers in this game, because more bullets flying in an enemy's face means more damage being dealt for faster knocks and effortless squad wipes. Treat every solo player as if their entire team is still up and running. You're best off playing it safe rather than getting steamrolled by a single opponent. How about predicting enemy rotations? For the most part, you'll be doing this while landing. As a jump master is flying towards your team's location of choice, the other 2 players should be looking around at their surroundings to call out any enemy teams and their locations. This is crucial because you should predict that every other team is doing the same and they know where you are. This way you'll know what areas you can rotate to that are deemed safe and which to stay away from. You will also have the advantage to avoid a certain entranceway into your location, or to watch for as an enemy team may push through that area a given amount of time. If an enemy lands at the top part of drill site and your team lands the lower side, you can predict that they most likely are going to push you if you are separated or slow looting. Your best bet is to rotate in on each other and push as a team and not individually, slowly sweeping the entire area. You should also be mindful which areas are safe, as in the areas you looted, you were just there and no other enemies were there, so that area is guaranteed safe for the most part. However, if you push the enemy team back so far that they run into the buildings you just looted, you have to know those areas are no longer a safe haven and communicate that with your team. Something else to keep in mind are choke points, especially on this map. There are numerous choke points, as you can see circled in yellow on the screen. These are areas you want to avoid as best as possible, and understand that you can most likely rotate away towards a more safe choke point where there aren't any gunfights happening, but most of the time you can't avoid these areas either. I look at the map as shown. I see the yellow lines as walls enclosing certain areas, and the only exits are doors that lead out, which are shown in magenta. Now, would you rather go out a door and receive a shotgun to your face, or would you rather stub your toe walking around the enclosed area and take a different exit? This analogy is for rotating to a circle as it's closing and you're pinned by an enemy team at one of the choke points on the screen. So don't be afraid to rotate back into storm and around as long as you have the heals to do so. You can predict only so much what enemy teams will do at the beginning of the game, because you can only see and remember so much when dropping for such a short period of time. When you're on the battlefield, you get what you see and remember from the beginning of the game. Most players will get into circle as early as possible and hold up a building where they believe the final circle will end, so you're bound to run into people attempting that, and more times than not I've run into a choke point not knowing what was on the other side, just to find an entire enemy team running in my direction. And then there are some times where there's nothing on the other side of that choke point, and then surprise, there's a team behind you following you the entire time just when you thought you were safe. Awareness plays a huge role in rotating, which I have a video on if you like to watch. The card is on the screen right now and down below in the comments, where you should leave a comment on what I should cover in my next video. One more thing with enemy rotations is that it can be done just through audio. When you are towards the end of the game, let's say 5 teams left or even 10 or so, it doesn't really matter, this analogy still applies. And you hear gunshots coming from 2 areas, your left and right. It could be in front of you, behind you, left, behind you, it doesn't matter. This means most likely that 2 teams are fighting at each area. So right now you are between 4 teams and you're the 5th doing nothing, just waiting. Understand that 1 team from each fight is most likely going to be eliminated, and that leaves it to 2 enemy teams, giving you the entire opportunity to figure out where the location you'll be headed towards that has the best advantage when encountering these teams. You may get lucky and get to third party the 2 if they fight, or you may get very unlucky and fight both at the same time. The latter isn't fun at all, but if your teammates are strong fighters and you follow all the steps found in the rest of my videos on focus firing, team synergy, and more, then I'm sure you can handle it with ease. Link to the playlist is on screen and in the comments down below. Let's get a little situational now with some visual examples. These examples all take place at drill site, and let's say you weren't too aware of where the enemies may have landed. Say we have the blue team who is currently looting buildings a little bit slower than usual, and we have the magenta team rolling up on the solo who is all alone. They approach that building. He's most likely going to die from 3 people. Then it's a 3v2 advantage where they will most likely win, as his teammates either roll out into the open to attempt and get their dead teammate's banner. The blue team has a few choices. Push and most likely die, hold up that building and hope magenta pushes them and they're able to squad wipe them, or the rest of the blue team could rotate out and save their own asses, hoping to place high enough so their dead teammate doesn't go so negative in points. For the second example, let's say the single blue player hears the magenta players rolling up on him, or he saw them land on the other half of drill site, so he immediately just rotates out towards his teammates while calling out the situation, saying rotate on me or they're chasing me. His teammates should instinctively take high ground, rotate in on each other, and lay down some covering fire as magenta pushes. Although this is a 2v3 situation, both blue players could focus fire on the first enemy seen and knock them, leaving them the ability to escape or finish off the rest of the team with their third teammate. Now let's take the same situation where the blue team members' positions don't change, but this time the magenta is located near the 2 blue players. Say one goes in the main entrance, one goes on top and down the stairs, and the other pushes to the side door. The magenta players who push the main door and top side of the building can easily converge on the blue player on the far right and eliminate him and quickly reposition themselves as their third teammate pushes that side door and they destroy the last blue player together in that building. If the solo blue player pushes, he will mainly be dead in a 1v3, so he can either rotate out and either place high enough in the game so his teammates aren't so negative in points, or risk it hiding to get their banners and respawn them. Regardless, if one magenta player is down in this play, it will be a 2v1 inside the building and 2v1 against a solo blue player pushing from the outside, and the odds are still in magenta team's favor. Listen, I get it. These are some very simple illustrations for a very fluid concept that happens in a matter of seconds during actual games. This type of quick decision making is based on years of a competitive mindset and building game sense, but understanding what you need to be doing is half the battle to getting better, so don't feel down if you can't get it the first few days or weeks of trying. It's an easy concept on paper, but committing to it in game isn't as simple as it sounds. Thank you so much for sticking through to the end of the video. I hope you understand how to properly rotate, predicting enemy rotations, and how to rotate as a team. If you have any questions or other advice or situations you'd like to share with others or me, please leave a comment stating it and what I should cover in my next video. And of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe for more videos just like this, because I'm Instant Gamer. I'll see you all next time. Peace.